Welcome to the 50 to 70 podcast brought to you in association with 3FE Coffee. Get all your coffee needs at 3fe.com or pop into one of their 7 stores dotted throughout Dublin. Hello, I am Dave Humphreys.
I'm Cormac Singleton.
And we're going to start on a little slightly serious note. Obviously, this is an automotive podcast and we appeal, we hope, to automotive enthusiasts. But I'm just going to start. This is a general kind of thing for anybody that is currently has a car, drives, does anything. Please, cop the fuck on.
Yeah. So this comes, if you are listening to it in real time, just after a insane week on the roads here, culminating at the end of the week with 5 major accidents in one day and the whole city essentially coming to somewhat of a stop. I think at one stage a 14-kilometre journey was giving an ETA of 3 hours. And yes, there was a loss of life, and so not to diminish that, we'll just put that aside. That is awful. You know, someone is not going home to their family. But
and ultimately, traffic doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
But
this isn't a one-off.
yeah,
It's very unfortunate that this happens, and anytime it happens, and it seems, as always, bikers are very vulnerable on the M50. But yeah, just we're aware that not trying to lessen that. However, the frequency at which major accidents happen makes it seem like this could all be very avoidable, because in the grand scheme of things, people's ability here is dire.
yeah. I've frequently gone on record as saying, obviously through my job, I'm very fortunate. I get to travel the world. I drive in a lot of different places, and I say this with 14 years of experience at this stage of driving all around the world. Drivers in Ireland are among the worst.
Truly the worst.
The worst I have ever come across.
And this isn't we're great.
Oh, no. This is like everybody has an off day. Everybody makes a mistake every now and then. I'm guilty of it too, right? I'm not saying we're better than anyone else. But the standard of driving in Ireland is really so bad. We have to talk about this. But also, we have so many people that are in a huge number of cases, like any loss of life is terrible. But there are so many accidents happening that really could probably be avoided. Mm-hmm. And for what gain? Like, this is the thing that is just like, okay, this, the major accident yesterday, it's terrible. Somebody had, it's not just somebody's lost a life. There is an entire cohort of people
that
have lost
family, brother, cousin,
that
uncle is not coming back, and that ricochets throughout that whole hub, and again, not to downplay that, because that's one separate thing.
I have lost friends through road traffic accidents, so I've been there. I know what it's like. It's still, 10 years on, it still hurts. But honestly, there are so many people here driving in Ireland that I see. And this isn't Irish, right? This is just people generally in Ireland. My God, the stupidity that I see. It's not only stupidity, it's aggression. It's needless aggression. Mm-hmm. It's people being completely situationally blind and deaf to what's going on. And on top of that, compounding all of this, there's this utterly ridiculous kind of them versus us, cars versus insert any other type, whether it's cyclists, e-scooters, motorcyclists, buses, taxi drivers. And please, really, please, just give it a fucking rest. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you're driving. Put your fucking phone down.
The phone's a big one.
The phone is the thing that is now, we need to do something. Like a long time ago, in the 70s and the 80s, even into the early 90s in Ireland, drink driving was, sort of deemed almost socially acceptable.
Kind of cap it at 5.
Yeah, and that was it. But we did generally a very, very good job of making drink driving socially unacceptable. And I think that's great. We've done that, but we can't just rest on the laurels of doing that, because we now have so many other things. We now have numerous cases every single day of the police stopping drivers that have drugs in their system, whether that's the night before or currently, like as in right there and then. So there are people driving under the influence and those kind of issues. But I think what's even worse, and which is far more prevalent in society, is the mobile phone, and how that is absolutely killing people. It is literally killing people because somebody has to send a text message or read a text message, which is even more...
It gets worse than that.
Utterly bonkers, right? But this is the thing. What's even worse is that I see this day in, day out, whether I'm on the bike or whether I'm in a car, and I see people holding and using their mobile phones in cars that I know are fully equipped to have a really good interface. That means you don't have to use your phone, like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth. Like to see somebody in a 2021, 2022 BMW holding the phone up to their ear when there's nobody else in the car is just utterly...
That's fake news. BMW drivers all have earpieces.
Just fucking bonkers. And honestly, everybody has done it. We need to actually try and start calling out if we see friends doing it, whether that just put your fucking phone down. I've sat in traffic now. What I start to do now is I see somebody driving along beside me, even if it's at low speed in traffic, and they're on their phone, I just bang the horn at them.
Oh, I have shouted at people.
And they look at me as if I've got 10 heads, and I'm like gesturing at them like, put your fucking phone away. And like, I know that might seem innocent in slow moving traffic, or, you know,
sometimes that little bit of shaming though does,
but yeah. But I also wonder, when I do that to somebody, are they going back home and going, I just was driving in traffic and this fella beat at me. Why did he beep at you? Well, I was on my phone.
Yeah, maybe when you say it out loud.
What's the next thing? And it is like nothing is that important.
The one that has made me consider, is a pit maneuver worth it, is when someone passes me, and it's usually on the M50, and they are watching the match or a TV show on their phone mounted to the windscreen.
Yes.
In that instance, I look for stuff I can throw at them some way, because that is just like, what is the thought process to go, driving, so boring, watch a show.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I'm going to mount it to the windscreen. That's grand, because I'm looking for it. That's where the road kind of used to be.
I'm not holding my phone, because
it's hands free.
So.
That is just, if you ever think about that, give your head a wobble. That's just wild that you think that's acceptable. That anyone thinks that's acceptable. It's just insane.
For anybody listening to this, we reference the M50. The M50 is a 3-lane each direction motorway that is a ring road around Dublin, akin to the M25 in London, that kind of thing.
It is our motorway.
It is.
We have one big one in Dublin. That's it.
It is.
And every single day, without fail,
there is
someone crashes.
Yes.
Majorly to shut down at least 1 to 2 lanes.
Yeah.
And this is every day. You know,
this is a daily occurrence. A daily occurrence. And
in fact, if you're listening to this right now,
we haven't changed the direction of the M50 or the overall layout in many years. So this isn't a case that, you know, we hit shuffle every morning and nobody really knows what direction the road's going to go in, because it hasn't changed. Instead, in most instances, what we have is a group and a cohort of fucking morons that actually don't know how to drive on what is generally a straight road that has very few turn-offs of it. So generally,
it's one very big curve,
in one direction,
you know,
and it's a gently curving round to the left or to the right, depending on your direction of travel. But generally, it's a straight road. So if you cannot grasp that, please consider just getting
alternative
the bus or the train, or maybe just stay at home, because it sounds like you're a fucking danger to all other people.
Yeah, if you happen to be listening to this and are currently driving on the M50. Now, we know that you won't be because you are a discerning motorist, and if you're listening to this. So we know that you'll be in the correct lane. However, look around you. Is there anyone in front of you? No. That means you're in the correct lane. Is everyone in the middle lane? Yes. There is one lane on the M50 as far as anyone is concerned. It's the middle one. Why? We don't know.
I think actually I know. Apparently, they only pump oxygen into the middle lane, and you risk suffocation if you drive on the inside lane.
This is like a cultural phenomenon. This is like when when people go and walk Dunleary Pier and they have to touch the end of the wall, or they haven't walked it.
You haven't done it otherwise.
If you're not in the middle lane, you're somewhere in a field or Carlow. You're not on the M50 if you're not in the middle lane.
It's safer in the middle lane.
Yeah. Just watch. The next time you're on it, drive along in the correct lane and watch.
Also, you will also watch as you tend to naturally undertake almost everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody's driving in the mid lane of the M50 and driving at 76 kilometers an hour, even when there's free flowing traffic, because it's a 100 kilometer per hour road.
Set your cruise control at 100 on lane 1, the inside lane, and just see how quickly you come up on people in the middle lane.
Yeah. Please, people, please. As we said, generally, if you're listening to this, you've probably got somewhat of a few brain cells in your head, if you're silly enough to listen to us. But my God, there are people out there that they give mouth breathers a bad name. Yeah. These are just...
I travelled the M50 this morning, and I, with everything that's gone on, and there was a bit of build-up of traffic, so I left a decent gap in front of me just in case someone's not watching and someone has to slam on, that I have that little bit more time. And the problem with doing that is every single time I try and do that and leave a little bit of a gap, just in case, someone else sees that and goes, there's a space. And they come right in front of you, leaving the gap down to about a half a foot between you and them. This is how it happens. I had a car behind me he could have, read the fine print on the number plate. He was that close. And this guy, stereotypical, 15-year-old Hyundai, one headlight working. And I mean, this thing reached levels of lean that only dragsters see. A gap opened up in the middle lane. That's the one that's moving. And he shoots into the middle lane and up around me. And I mean, this is just, could have at best been in second and third gear at the rate of acceleration he was trying to achieve. And just the aggression with which he had to be in the most fastest moving lane at all times. And the irony was, at the other end of the M50, we come off the same exit and I was in front.
Yeah.
And I had just driven at 80 with the cruise on. And it's every single time. But he was putting in moves. His left arm was putting in a shift, going up and down through them gears.
I don't know what people hope to achieve. If you're driving with that much urgency, that much of a rush, just fucking get out of bed earlier in the morning.
But the biggest irony is that, you'd put in all this effort. The M50 is only a couple of kilometers long. It's not going for days.
If you're going from let's say the most northern, for those that don't travel on the M50 or who are living in other countries, it kind of starts at the north of Dublin, pretty much where the airport is. And if you were to go all the way around to the most southerly point, you're probably going to travel about 25 kilometers.
It's something like that
at most. So you are not traversing an entire country here when you do this. But it is astonishing that on such a relatively short road, which is also tolled, so people are paying for, some people are paying for the privilege of doing this every single day. It is astonishing how few people actually know how to use that road properly and how to drive as you would normally do in that sort of setting, even at rush hour, in congested times when it's bumper to bumper. People are still doing all these stupid things. And half the time, you see, there are motorcyclists, for example, that can filter through, and that's fine. I've no issue with that. I usually pull over, give them a little bit of extra room. But people are just darting from lane to lane, as if quick, I have to go there. It's like, you're not going to get there any quicker.
It is just about between 25 and 30 Ks from the airport to where it transitions into the M11 down by Sandyford. Meaning that at the best of times, if you are 10k over the speed limit, you're making up minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes.
Not even.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you take anything away from this, breathe. Just breathe. If you're on the M50, just breathe a little bit. Have a look around. Give yourself space. Think that everyone is out to get you, and try put yourself in a little bubble. And go, yeah, there's enough space now that your man... Look behind you, because often, if someone is too close behind you, I usually try to get out of their way, let them go ahead, because they're the ones that are going to hit me.
Yep, that's it. Every day, rear ends, multiple car crashes, and unfortunately, far, far too often, loss of life. And look, the same kind of goes for so many roads as well. It's not just, we're not picking on the M50, but it is a really, it's a shining light of an example of how dire standards of driving are in Ireland.
If your biggest motorway or your biggest road in the city, in a capital city, comes to a standstill a minimum of once a day, there is a problem.
Yes.
And I don't think lowering speed limits is going to do anything, because the second people start to slow down, they switch off and go, pick up the phone now.
Well, they tried to do that because they did introduce temporary speed limits. So there's gantries all over throughout the different sections of the motorway. And there are numerous times when, if there is, for example, very heavy traffic, they flash up a temporary speed line, which is what happens in a lot of other countries. And it seems to actually work because people pay attention to the signs, but not here. People see 80, and then most of the drivers go, no.
There's enough room to do 100.
I know there are people who can maybe these people who happen to have full access to every camera on the system and are monitoring real-time traffic flows and all that, and they, as professionals, maybe judge that the best thing to do would be for everybody to drive at 80 kilometers per hour. No, not me, because me, in my Hyundai i40 with a dented bumper and one of my daytime running lights not working, knows better. And those people are the dickheads.
Yeah, just, you can't control what other people do, but you can give yourself the best position. Just take a minute. You'll still get there. Whatever you're going to be, or going to see, do, visit, it'll still be there.
I think we should maybe do a merch line of bumper stickers that just says "Stop being."
I survived the
dickhead."
M50.
I survived the M50, or just stop being a dickhead, because ultimately you are just being a dickhead driving like that,
yeah.
And you are unfortunately going to really fuck up somebody's day sometime soon.
Yeah, and look, we don't want anyone to get into an accident, and we'll wrap this up before it gets ranty, but just for shits and giggles, next time we're on the M50, just watch how many people need to be in the inside, or in the middle lane. Just
essential.
I swear you will get a kick out of it, how they don't know lane placement at all. You'll get a kick out of it, and then it will start to annoy you after a couple of days, to the point where you will then, out of spite and just making a point, drive in the correct lane to go, oh my God, look at these people doing it wrong.
Where you see it the most actually is immediately after an on-ramp, when somebody joins the motorway, what they do when they join the motorway. And it's like, it's either a beeline for the middle lane or the overtaking lane. And then they just sit there, even if there's no other vehicles in front of them.
Oh, if you're, even at night, not a sinner being on the road, you'll come across one person in the middle lane.
Yeah.
Just in case. In case there's a crater or something in the inside or outside. Or, a lot of people sit in the outside when there's no one on a two-lane motorway. Yeah. If you're moving, you have to be in the inside is for people stopped, outside is for people moving, apparently.
As it's so poorly named by so many people, the fast lane.
I saw someone say, literally earlier today, someone said on the fast lane, there's no such thing as a fast lane here, they're all the same speed limit. So fine, the crime lane then.
Anyway, look, please just cop on.
Be mindful.
Tell everybody else to cop on. Tell your maybe not so experienced car driving friends.
You're into cars. You don't want someone to hit your car, and you don't want to hit into someone else. Protect yourselves. It'll do the same for others. And
please call out stupidity when you
not with fists, but maybe just some light public shaming. Yeah. A glare sometimes will do all the talking that you need to.
100%. Anyway, speaking of nice drivers, we were at the Herbert Park car show last week.
Yes.
Me with my wonderful Citroën Dujavo, and I was
my feet.
So happy to drive it, and thank you for all the work. You did an awful lot of work to get it done, and we got it done in time. and it was a very popular hit at the show. But there was a lot of cool stuff there.
There was. So the Herbert Park show has been growing in size the last couple of years. The guys behind it have been doing a pretty decent job. They invite a lot of people out, and people that they know who have a collection of cars. They try to encourage you not bringing the same car 2 years in a row, just to give a little bit more variety. And it's quite a nice setting, and it's usually quite a nice show. I heard a lot of comments of people this year complaining about the lack of variety. I don't understand how, with a 60-plus-year-old 2CV and a one-of-one green Enzo, there isn't enough variety in a show. We also had like DB4, Gull Wings, everything. Now, yes, it was more exotic than quirky. I saw people say, "Oh, it's no Terran Euro." Good.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I'm sick of, it's going to a car show where there's probably a quarter of the production run of MGBs all with their blankets out next to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely there was quite a bit of modern stuff there. I mean, there was like
it's
Ferrari,
definitely focused a
SUV
little
thing,
bit,
which is just dreadful.
It is more towards a kind of exotic-ish stuff / supercars, but it's still nice to see. Some of these owners don't take these things to anything else, so this is your chance to kind of see them. There's quite a few owners that don't bring these cars to a single other show. They just like the vibe at Herbert Park. This is your chance to see it. You want to go see all the MGs? Go to Trim or something.
Yeah. I mean, I thought there was some good stuff. A nice variety. It was kind of, I see how they try to curate it in a way. Like they had all the alphas in one section, and they had a lot of
M cars in one.
M cars, and actually there was a good spread of M cars. So there was everything from an M1, even an M1 Pro car, right up to M2 was there.
Yep.
Mikey had his M2 there. Lot of cool stuff. CSL.
Yeah, and
all the usual. Proper CSL as well.
You can walk the whole way around this, and it's really, really difficult to find a car where you go, "Oh, what's that doing here?"
And also, you only had to make a donation at the gate to a charity.
Yeah, bear in mind,
and it was a fucking gloriously sunny day as well.
Yeah, the Herbert Park show, it has always been sunstroke weather with a break for a Florida rainstorm in the middle. The last few years, this year was just incredible day. Yeah. They moved it forward by a couple of months. It's really nice. Really, really nice. There's some nice music playing, and all the cars are roped off. I saw people go, why is it roped off? That's unnecessary. Because children and adults alike were going under the ropes to sit, lean, and take pictures with the cars.
Yes. I've never understood this.
If we're bad for driving, we're even worse for respecting other people's cars.
I've never understood this desire to have to touch a car.
Yeah.
Like physically, I have to touch it.
Yeah.
It's not you're not petting a dog. I could understand petting a dog because
they respond to it.
It's reciprocal as well, and it's nice, and you get a dopamine release and all that kind of stuff. But
touching the wing of a Ford... Last year, someone tried to open the door of a Ford GT and set the alarm off.
Yes.
Why? It's not yours. It's not a toy. It's not there as an interactive experience. It's there on show, on display.
Yes.
You look with your eyes, not your hands.
The word there is display. Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
Oh, that's a very nice wife you have. Hang on, I have a touch. You don't know the emphasis that some people put in these cars. Don't.
Yeah, and whatever the car is, somebody has, in many cases, worked very, very hard to get that. That's their pride and joy.
Yeah,
and it's a nice thing for them. They're very proud to be able to take that car out. They probably spend all morning or the night before cleaning it and polishing it and having it looking really good. And then you're going to let your little offspring with grubby hands and sun cream all over them just ruin the paintwork on it. It's like, no, just
it's
stop.
Always a 3-year-old with something sticky in one hand, just flat palm slapping the front of something.
Usually while the gormless parent videotapes it
on
on their phone.
Oh, look at him, that future petrol head.
Isn't it great? Isn't it lovely?
Yeah.
No, you're a child and you need
cars
to
mean different things to different people. Leave them alone. Just look.
Yeah.
If everyone did this, there wouldn't be the ropes.
Exactly. But unfortunately, as in many cases, we can't be trusted.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why this happens.
Watch our video from San Moritz earlier in the year, where there is, the average price of a car was $750,000 upwards in this garage. Not a single rope in sight, and no one touched the car.
Yes, because that is correct etiquette, and that is how you do these things.
And both the owners and the patrons both get it, and the cars are just left be, and they come out in the same way they went in. These shows, you come back, and it's just like finger painting has been done on the car.
Yeah, it is. That is the same. But in fairness, credit to the organisers. They did do a very good job of roping everything off, and that's fine. And look, there's no issue if somebody wants to take somebody in to see their car up close. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
I saw a couple of instances of people just asking, "Hey, would you mind if I just came in for a
Absolutely,
photograph?"
yeah.
And usually owners go, "Yeah, that's
of course,
that's polite."
Totally fine. So I thought it was pretty good. There's still a few more events to come this year as well, so we're going to have to make sure that we get along to a few more.
And don't worry, we will do our best to not become the two old men in the Muppet Show on the balcony.
Yes, yeah,
but
Statler and Waldorf. No, and honestly, we really do try and make this non-ranty, but sometimes things have to be said. In which case, that's a prime example. Of
just in case anyone's out there going, yeah, that's all great, but you never mentioned the real issues. These are the real issues. You can't drive and you can't touch things.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we should be at this point now, know not to touch.
We can tie our laces.
Yeah. But anyway, aside from that, it's been a busy time. You have some car news. Please,
I do. Yeah.
Your fleet has been slightly.
Number of running vehicles has increased by 1.
Yes. So do tell us.
So, last summer, August into September, I flew to Amsterdam and I bought a very, very early Twingo. Renault Twingo, the one. It is frog green, little frog face in it. And if you're really nerdy, this is a first 3 months of production car, which had a few little differences to the rest of the run. But it was what I wanted. Had to have as early as possible Twingo with the bus seat, fabric seats and all that. So I bought it in Amsterdam and road tripped it with a couple of friends down through France.
First of all, the colour.
It is, yeah, it is frog green. It's coriander green.
Coriander green. I love this thing so much.
Yeah, it's got its little orange eyes, its little cheeky smile. And road tripped it all the way down to Monaco, up through the Alps and back across to Dublin over 2 weeks. Did 4,000 kilometres. And I arrived back, and the week after I got back, it very rightly decided it needed a break. So,
when you say it needed a break,
and when I asked it to begin, it didn't.
Okay.
So it got put into the shed, and we said, "Okay, look, that's fine. You've had a big run. We'll go give you some love." And I just could not figure out why this was. We replaced a whole load of parts, and none of them worked. And eventually, Kieran, our electrically minded friend, came and
the car whisperer.
Okay, he is a bit, yeah. A few of us, we had a look at it there last week and did some poking, and it was giving odd signs. First, it wasn't getting spark, then it had a weak spark, then it had a good spark. All just changing different coils. But anyway, it runs. It's back.
It is alive. It has found its joie de vivre.
It's booked in to be registered next week.
Fantastic.
So it'll be on some kind of really long phone number plate very soon.
Well, that's good, right?
But then it'll be, it's such a great car to drive.
Yeah.
They are just one of the best small cars of the last couple of years or decades. It's incredible. Yeah. It's so much fun. It's funny looking. It's whimsy. It fits loads of people. This car actually rescued people in France. One of our friends in the newest car broke down, and his car had to be recovered back to Ireland. And he got in the Twingo with his luggage, and we piled it all high, and everyone had room. Everyone survived, and it made it back. So, and everyone kind of gone, oh, you're buying a car sight and seeing, and you're going to road trip it 4,000 kilometres?
My God.
Absolutely.
Lunacy.
It's a Twingo. You can go into a bathroom stall and there'll be a vending machine for some parts for it. It's France and a Twingo. Like, this engine, it's a little push rod, started out in the Renault 4. It's as simple as engines get.
Yeah. Which is exactly how it should be in a car like that.
Yeah, it's got a 25-litre fuel tank. It's a wonderfully mechanical gear shift, no power steering, just 54 horsepower of push rod fury. highly recommend it. Anyone to just, they're funny.
Yeah.
You either love them or hate them. I get it. Not for everyone. Some people think they're just annoying. Some people, they just remind them of.
I think they're annoying.
It's got a face.
Yeah, it is anthropomorphic.
It is, but it's kind of, oh, look at your stupid little face. Some people think they're just rental cars. Like, oh, I went over to France. We got one of them as a hire car for a trip. Yeah, it was great. I love them. I think they're just. I love little small cars.
Yeah,
it's a real exercise in what you can do with a small amount of space and a small budget.
They're so big inside as well. That's
huge.
Yeah,
huge.
Yes,
So that's
much
going
better
to be
than
out.
all of the subsequent Twingos.
Yeah, you'll see it out and about during the summer. I'm going to try to get it to some shows and bits and bobs. I'd also got a shout out on Spit and Sniff, so that's probably my crowning achievement.
No, it's a super cool thing. I'm sorry. But also, can we talk about the other thing?
The other thing, I am in the process of a restoration on my first car.
Now, do tell us, what was your first car?
It was, or is, still exists in some form, a 1996/7. It was a 96 build, 97 regged, Japanese import Mini Cooper S. So classic Mini, Rover Mini.
Yeah.
Now mine has at some point been repainted in BMW Dakar yellow. It's had some little bits of.
Did you paint it?
No, I bought it yellow.
Okay.
So it came into Ireland in 2010, and I bought it in 2012 off the guy it came into a dealer. Guy bought it from them. He ran it for a while. I got it in 12. Was my first car, and I've had it since. However, it's been at current count off the road about 8 years.
Right. We need to fix that.
It, as minis do, it got some rust in it, and then it got some electrical issues in it, and then I went, look, let's just put you away. So it's been in an office for the last. I have a shed, but I put it in an office on carpet.
Has it been working?
Yeah, no, it gets the coffee every day. And while it was in there, then the fuel went bad and gummed up the fuel pump, and that stopped working, and all sorts of stuff happened. But the rust didn't get much worse, which was good. So it'll be coming out of there very soon and getting a full resto to be back on the road. At the same time, I've been kind of gathering parts and bits and things that I need for it, new fuel pump and seals for the windows, because we're going to have them out for paint, and all these little bits, and trying to organise new tyres, because obviously the rear tyres have been on it since before 2012.
Almost as old as you.
Almost as old as me. And yeah, it's my first car. It's got 77,000 kilometres. I will never sell it. It's the only thing you won't get off me. You
Really?
get anything else. All the other cars can go, not this one. Love to pieces. You can't replace your first car.
I mean, I technically still own my first car as well, which was the Honda Insight. So that was my first fully owned car myself. So yeah.
So later this year,
I'd be the same. I'd be very reluctant to see that go.
Yeah, later this year, I will have that back out on the road, and I will be trying to complete the odometer in it and just put every single mile that I missed out on for the last few years back onto it.
Good. Fresh paints.
Fresh everything.
Everything.
We're going whole hog on it.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is why, you see, we need to have more cars like this
King
on
of the
road. Single
point injection I am.
Oh, yes. It is injected, yeah.
It's single point, but both it and the Twingo are single point injection. Which was, in the Mini world, a lot of mainly the Jap ones were SPI, and the UK ones were MPI, and then they later all went to MPI. So yeah, it's got some weird Jap stuff in it. Recently I found a tax receipt, and it turns out it lived just outside Tokyo.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is
very, very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't have very much of the bar its reg. I've incredibly little bit of history from Japan, as is the way. But it's got a wood dash. It's got big Cooper leather seats that are really comfy. I did a lap of the country in it. I've gone camping in Wexford in it. I at the time did loads of miles in it. Love it dearly. But you move on. It's easy to forget that it's there, because you still own it. Same with the Twingo. You go, yeah, I'll do something with it someday. Well, this is the someday for both of them.
The thing is now, when you get a car restored like that, obviously everything is like new on it.
I hate perfection. I hate it. Because if something's perfect, you can only make it worse.
Right.
You know, if you use it and all that, which is how cars need to be used. But that then will add marks and wear, and it becomes less than it was. So I like things that are pre-worn. I like stuff that has marks, scars, history, stuff like that, and then it's guilt-free. You can if you have something that's in medium condition, you can make it better.
Yeah.
But if something's perfect, you can only make it worse.
Sure.
I usually start now. I don't start medium. I start on the floor.
Yeah.
And try and make something
Work
better.
your way up. I see. I'm like that. I love stock standard cars. That's the thing for me, that I just love seeing a car that is completely original. And almost the more ordinary the car, the more joy I get from seeing just is in its total original.
So it depends. The Mini is modified, but I would never change from how it is. I think it's perfect. The Twingo is completely stock, and I plan to make it as original as possible and experience it as original as possible. Now, my former Twingo, serial Twingo 1 collector here, my old one, which is now owned by a really cool guy called Robin, he is building it into a car to go to the Nürburgring in, and he's lowered it. He's put NR1s on it and everything. I think that's cool, and I think it's deadly what he's doing to it. But for no amount of money would I do it to the current one, because it's hard to say.
Well, you're
collectible for a car they made over 2 million of, but you know.
But yours is the collectible one of those.
Yeah, of them all,
2 million.
Very few of them are collectible. It's one of the ones that is. Again.
So what makes your one different to the mainstream first gen Twingos? Because you have first of all, it's 93, so the year of introduction.
Production ran from 93 to 07 in France and 2012 in Colombia. Mine is a 93, and for the first 3 months of production, they had a few key differences that after them 3 months, they kind of revised based on consumer reviews. The placement of the dome light is over your head, it's on the driver's side, not the middle of the roof. It only has one mirror adjuster. Yeah.
Weight saving, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason that the Twingo's aerial is on the mirror is because it saved, I think, 2.6 kilometers of wire as opposed to having it on the roof, because on the mirror it's closer to the radio. It's the same reason that the Twingo's never offered right-hand drive. It was just the price to develop it into right-hand drive based on how much they thought they would sell. It didn't work out. It would raise the cost price outside of where they wanted it to be. It just didn't work. So there's a lot of, savvy cost cutting in the Twingo. Moving the aerial that few feet saved 2.6 kilometers of wire.
Yeah, kilometers.
Kilometers.
That sounds very long.
Well, they made over 2 million.
Oh, sorry. Oh, overall.
Yeah,
sorry,
not per car. No, they didn't wrap it around like some kind of Tesla coil. Yeah, if you spin a Twingo, it will just keep spinning in infinity. It's a magneto more than it is a car. No, over the production run. So obviously that adds up, per cost per car.
Yeah. And cars are, accountants, bean counters.
Exactly.
Have a huge amount to say in these things.
And they really they pushed the boat out because it took quite a while for Patrick Leclement to convince Renault that this car needed to look like a face, and that became the thing. That even the early ads were all like, "Oh, the Twingo is more than just a regular mold car. It's personable. It's affable." It was designed in his brief. He had said to be like a Mini. Minis in the 80s and all start making ads. That anthropomorphized Minis, and you'd care for it and you'd want to bring it in when it's cold and wet outside. And the idea behind the Twingo is if you give it a face, people will want to do the same thing. They'll want to take care of it and treat it like some of the family. So, and that it did to an extent happen. Mine's very, very early in them first 3 months. If anyone wants to try and collect, again, air quote, collect a Twingo, that's what it is. 93 only had 3 or 4 colours.
What were the other colours? So you had your green.
Yeah, coriander green, overseas blue, Indian yellow, and coral red. They all had the same interior. They all the switch gear was mint green to match the the green car, but no matter what colour you got, the accents were all green. And you had a series of accessories. You could get like a camera, a backpack, a couple of little weird, and they were all had these almost United colours, Benetton colours.
Okay, yeah.
Later on, a Benetton edition did come out.
Oh, of course.
Of course. It was natural. And like I don't have a push button for the boot. I have to stick the key in the boot every time to open it. There's some weird little bits like that. And mine's all original. It has its parcel shelf and stuff like that. And the only thing that's not original is it hasn't got its original radio anymore, which is very difficult and very expensive to find. But someday,
are you going to replace it
we
one day?
We will. One day we will. So after 93, they started changing some bits, the shape of the steering wheel, the colours and the interiors. Bits changed. It stayed looking the same, but I had to have as early as possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm weird.
I like that. No, that's not weird. That's like, we need to get around this like weird thing. It's not weird. It's fucking cool.
It's not for everyone.
It is super cool.
I look at it and go, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
But some people look at it and go, what an ugly, horrible little car. But that's cool, because I probably don't like what they drive.
Yeah, some people buy Toyota Corollas, you know, like it's...
Some people, they have all their money in their hand and they look at a Corolla and go, yep, that'll do.
Yeah, that'll do me. That's fine. Yeah.
But that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I love it. I will keep it for likely a very long time to forever, because it's not really worth all that much. Even though it's the collectible, it means it's a couple of hundred more than the other couple of hundred.
But that's the joy of cars like this as well, that you can get something that is quite rare, quite, you know, to the right person, a very collectible and very sought after car. And it's still
to Renault Classic department, it's quite sought after. They can't find these early ones.
And it's still really affordable in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about cars like that.
Oh, the best brake pads and discs I could find for it came in at 20-something euro.
Oh my God.
Like, everything is so dirt cheap for it.
Yeah.
It's why you can go, we'll go whole hog and restore it, make it perfect, and it won't break the bank at all. And it gets 50 to the gallon everywhere. But you just, it's joyous.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I really want to drive this thing, because I know how long you've had it, and I've not driven it yet. I've never driven a first gen Twingo.
Yeah, no, I've had a habit the last few years of just, if something breaks, I park it and I buy something else.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy different experiences. If you told me I could drive a van, I'd probably say yeah, because I probably haven't driven it before. I just like accumulating different experiences. And a while ago I said, no, we won't buy anything for a while. We'll just build all the things we have. So the Mini, the Twingo, then we'll do the Land Rover Series 3. We'll start with a galvanized chassis and build that up.
Very looking forward to seeing how this... So, you know, nobody has seen this yet, really.
They saw the picture. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen the pictures of
it in a field.
A shell-shocked PTSD war veteran Land Rover Series 3 88-inch. That it literally, you know the dogs that are three-legged on the streets of Africa and all that people try to say, it's like one of them in vehicular form. In fact, it is three-legged because it has a broken half shaft. And I decided, do you know what? I've never built a car before, ever. I've taken them apart, all right. Really good at that.
Yeah.
Never built one. How simple can you get? Land Rover. I like Land Rovers. I've always wanted a marine blue 88-inch Series 3, and this was offered to me for an appropriate price. I went, do you know what? Just for the experience, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I'll have built this from zero, literally from the ground up, and it'll still probably cost less than some fellas are asking for basket cases on Dundeal, and it'll have a galv chassis, galv everything in it, and an original Irish reg. It from new has been in Moany, in a field, been full of muck, used as God knows, a septic tank, a tractor, God knows, everything. Beaten daily. In fact, it was parked in the field for so long and used as a scratching post by cows that the front corner has been worn through to shiny aluminium by the cows. And then they took their anger out on the door and tore it off the hinges, like ripped the door off the hinges just by rubbing up against it. So it's had a rough life, but eventually it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
And then we can start adding our own scratches to it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll paint it once and never, ever again.
I'm really looking forward to summertime roof off, windscreen down.
Yeah, summertime I will be running this sans roof, windscreen down, and I'm not going off road. Not like that. It's not why I'm building it. I have Range Rovers that I go off roading in. This is to go get coffee. And
Yeah.
if you go, oh, it's a shame for Land Rover. All the mountains are far enough away that I don't want to drive it there.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's super cool. I cannot wait to see that and all the other times. It's going to be great. You have the Twingo, the Mini, and the Land Rover.
Yes, which would be
Lots to look forward to.
yellow, green, and pastel blue. So I'm getting quite the palette going. I won't have a red one because I don't like red cars.
Okay.
I like your red car,
Oh no!
but
Just about enough of a recovery there.
I just red cars don't do it for me. I wouldn't own. I have owned two. One was good. One I didn't like. But yeah, if given the option, I'll go elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, look, we're going to wrap things up. Because honestly, I just want to go drive some cars. This has been the 50 to 70 podcast. You can catch up on some of our other stuff on 50to70.com. Follow us on all the socials. You'll find us mostly on Instagram with 50 to 70, which is at 50 to 70. You can follow you on Instagram by looking for
Works Cooper S.
And you can follow me by following at Lord Humphreys, and I'm pretty much that on all the social.
One day we will have to do the story of Lord Humphreys.
One day.
One day.
But we've a lot more to talk about before we tell that particular story, which has haunted me my entire life. As ever, thank you for listening. We have been brought to you in association with the wonderful people at 3FE Coffee. Do pay them a visit either in store throughout Dublin or online at 3fe.com. You can buy a whole host of great coffee there, and they obviously will ship it anywhere. So even if you're listening further afield, treat yourself to some great coffee roasted in Ireland by 3FE. Thanks for listening.
Bye.